Hey, everybody! It's Wednesday, hump day. And you're listening to Midnight's Ed After Dark. I'm, of course, your friendly neighborhood robot Shlomo, coming to you from Shabby Road Studios. With me, as always, Mr. Tom Connors.
Hello.
And with us is Miss Mecca Random. Oh, fuck. Scratch that. With us is the leader of the mighty nation of Turtistan, Mr. Michael J. Crawford, the anti-trucker.
Viva la Turtistan, my friends.
That's right. I'm going to buy freaking space engineers, too. So you'll have one more recruit.
Absolutely.
Well, it'll go on sale for the Steam Black Friday sale. The fall sale.
Yeah, it goes on sale a lot.
Well, it'll go on sale for the Steam Black Friday sale.
And that voice you hear is the one, the only, your favorite YouTube harpy. She is a BA, an MA, a BA, BS, an Emmy, an SB, a Bammy, a BAFTA, a Tony, an Oscar.
You have you have me looking at Futurama plushies, and my hair isn't brushed.
Lady Bing Trophy, an award-winning chef, Miss Mecca Random.
You have me looking at Futurama plushies, and I kind of want the nibbler. Damn it, because I never got the figure of him.
I don't have. Send me that link. Send me that link.
They have him not out.
Yeah, but Lure poops dark matter, though.
No, so Nibbler does.
Nibbler poops dark matter.
Yeah, Nibbler poops dark matter.
And he's so cute!
However, fun fact, the only pet better than Nibbler is I have a beagle named Auntie. And so Auntie poops antimatter.
Where did my freaking... For those wondering, we played Tuesday. Last night was trivia. We played in a new place, and I got it. Even though we did win, I don't want to say the name of the place, but the beer was horrible. Why do so many places have to overthink beer? I don't understand. They're that obsessed with trying to make everything special.
Well, to be fair, there are beer fanatics that are as crazy as us Trekkies and Trekkers are over Star Trek.
Mm-hmm. And they would be wrong. So we got a $2 super chat from Bird of Prey 5. Turtistan is weak and full of traitors. Turtistan is strong.
Yes, Turtistan. Yeah, ich bin ein Turtistanis. And death to Karoga. Are mortal enemies, which their leader, Bird of Prey 5, is an evil dictator.
So yeah, Rob forgot to do the tease in the intro. What we're going to talk about tonight is Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker trailer. We're going to talk about all those records it's breaking.
It's breaking records?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Totally.
Did you ever see those? Did you ever see it's breaking records? You ever see those documentaries about the early days of rock and roll? You know, the guy smashing records on rock and roll has got to go. Yeah, that's how it's breaking records. It's taking its LPs and
32 there, Mecca, or was there?
Which one?
Well, the one goes JJ. No, that's on the other part. I remember. We'll remember one. Oh, the leaks. Yeah, that's right. The leaked photos that Disney's putting claims on. Can't say they're fake if you put claims on them. So that's kind of like, might as well just put a whole red flag going, they're real. So we'll talk about those. We don't know if we'll show them or not because we don't want to get claimed. Or struck. Wasn't it struck, not claimed, or is it claimed?
Well,
I think it's just claimed, but still, I mean, it's just idiotic. They want to do that.
Well, even we'll probably tell you where to find them if worst case.
Really?
So don't be a hero.
When you get robbed,
don't
you tell them where all the jewels and shit are in the house and all the money. You that smart?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
So
Okay.
anyway,
There was a trailer on Monday, and instead of coming back live like we kind of bantered about, we ended up going on this itty bitty channel someplace else and talking to them. So no, we were on World Class Bullshitters for a little bit, and Andre even showed up. Am I right, Rob?
that's right. Yeah, we had a whole gang there.
Mhm.
It was a gangbang.
It was a great day for the nation of Kurdistan.
Well, and for everybody who says that Midnight's Edge and World Class Bullshitters have some beef, it's like, seriously?
Well, I've already been on the council, so I think that was kind of squashed.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah. You know who I have a beef with? I don't even know who I have a beef with. I don't have beef with anyone.
Here's the beef.
Where's the
Hey,
beef?
have
Where's
you
the
guys
beef?
been watching South Park?
I have been, yes.
The Integrity Burger?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Oh, man. I died laughing at that T-shirt they were wearing. I want that shirt so bad. So for those of you that don't know, the Integrity Burger is a now meat alternative burger made with hemp. And their official slogan is, it tastes like shit, but you won't care.
Exactly. It's hilarious. I was telling Rob and Mecca they got to be watching this, but they got to catch up. So
I don't know if I have Hulu. I don't think I do anymore.
I might have to do it.
I haven't watched Futurama. Not Futurama. I haven't watched South Park in a while. I haven't watched Futurama in a while either.
So yeah, let's do this.
All right. Now, according to, do we want to talk about the trailer first, or do we want?
Now let's do our trailer reactions first, since we didn't actually do our trailer reactions yet. Let's do that first.
Well, all I have to say is J.J. Abrams,
You stupid dick.
That's right. You just pretty much proved we were right. Everything we found evidence of everything we talked about in the trailer.
Yep.
Thanks a lot. No, no, thanks a lot. You just saved me $12.50.
18 for me, but yeah.
Oh God.
So what you're saying is you really like the trailer.
Oh yeah. What do you call it? Somebody wants me to play that again. What do you call it? Captain Blasto said play it again. All right, just one more time for you. J.J. Abrams.
You stupid dick.
That's right.
We need that picture of him where he looks really embarrassed or ashamed. Here, let me send you that over Twitter.
I think he's embarrassed. He's like, oh God. He goes, just kidding. But okay, all right. Well, the whole
He
thing
looks
about
panicked, doesn't he? I mean, just this one picture of him alone. I'm like, oh,
hold on, right there. That picture, the throne room.
Yeah.
That was one of the scenes we described in the Reddit leaks.
Where did the stairs go?
And
They
according
blew
to
up with the Death Star that should have blown up. I mean, since physics and science aren't things in Star Trek anymore, why would they need to make sense? And yeah, I sent you the picture of JJ. We should just have that on screen anytime we have to shame him.
On Twitter.
Yeah, on our Twitter.
they're saying now that the place that we call not Endor, with the wreckage of the Death Star.
Actually, there was a story that came out that's not Endor.
Yeah, it's really not Endor.
So where is it?
Nottingham.
Kefir. It's a new planet called Kefir because JJ has to have his tentacles and everything so he can make money off of it.
Kefir of everything.
Is that like kerfuffle?
Oh no. It's not Endor.
Just make it Endor. Just make it Endor. Why not? You got the freaking Death Star there surviving in space for some reason or on the planet for some reason after it blew up. I mean,
In space.
Well, let's ask George Lucas. George, are you disappointed that it's not Endor?
You can really give a rat's ass at this. I just want to get paid. Actually, my fucking George Lucas impression ain't shit. That video from Collider, though, the fucking best thing they've ever done.
Was it Collider or did they just repost it?
It was fucking Collider.
Okay.
I posted it.
Well, I guess sometimes when you have the money to.
The guy that did it has his own thing. Like, he does his own thing. So they brought in somebody like, I'm sure this is like probably something he does, but it's, yeah, he's like a comedian.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's the JJ picture you wanted.
Now that is the face of confidence.
And no, this is an interview where he's talking about Rise of Skywalker and trying to match up all of the ends of 9 movies, bring 9 movies together, make them feel something, give a satisfying end to all of it, as Kathy, who's sitting right next to him, claims. She refers to Star Wars as itch. Yeah, it's that thing. It's like that. It's like signing your divorce papers, or it's like the family pet that she wants to put to sleep because it growled at her once. It.
Do you think Kathy goes home every day to her husband, Frank Marshall? I hate these people. I really hate them. They're hounding me on the internet all day long. And those Midnight's Edge guys. Can't we do something about them?
They're in a bubble. They don't know we exist.
No, they don't know we exist. She probably goes home and says, "Gee, what are we having for dinner? You want to go to this fancy restaurant or that fancy restaurant? Hey, let's fly to Vegas for the weekend on our private jet."
Well, we'll get to that Endor story here in just a minute. First, let's get everybody's reaction to this fucking trailer. Annie Trekker.
Yes, sir.
How did you feel?
Well,
show us on the Chew Doll where the trailer touched you.
I honestly get the feeling that I'm going to be the nicest to this trailer of the group of us, because I said in my trailer review, I think it is an absolutely gorgeous trailer. That from beginning to end, this trailer has got some incredible visual effects, incredible cinematography, just well put together. Every single moment of it was spectacle here, and to a great level, unlike anything we've seen before. That being said, in my review, I summed it up with a quote from Shakespeare, and I think that this sums it up absolutely perfectly from Macbeth. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. The biggest problem, there's nothing there. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's wonderful to look at, but it's nothing but a painting on the wall. There's no story whatsoever.
It's
I think you're right.
Calories. It's empty calories, really.
Yeah. And the thing that really hurts me about that is the simple fact that, look, Lucasfilm, we joke about them, we make fun of them and all that, but they've got to know, they absolutely know that the fan base is divided right now, at the very least. And so for them to basically give a pass to this, to say, oh, we don't really need to show them anything because Star Wars is just going to sell itself on the spectacle, then they're completely missing the point. We want a story. If it was spectacle alone that mattered to us, then we'd be celebrating The Last Jedi, because Last Jedi was a beautiful film. We'd be celebrating Solo because, well, at least the visual effects were really good. But what's pissing us off is not the visuals. One thing about Star Wars, from the very beginning, Star Wars has always been on the cutting edge of visual effects. We expect, in fact, we would be very disappointed if we saw a Star Wars movie that had anything less than absolutely cutting edge special effects. And this trailer shows that we're in for that. Absolutely. These visual effects are as good as anything I've seen anywhere. But we've got to get a freaking story, people.
Yep.
Goodbye, space horses.
No, you're absolutely right.
Over you. Spectacle? Yeah, if spectacle is cram as much shit on the screen at once as you can.
Yeah, now that shot that you have right there of the rebel resistance, whatever. Yeah,
That
see, this and the Imperial fleet that they show in the trailer. I've been kind of kicking around the idea that, and I suggest this briefly in my breakdown. I think that this is a flashback. I think that what you're seeing right here is a retcon flashback of something like the Battle of Endor. That they're
Possibly.
trying to, that this is what the Battle of Endor really looked like. It wasn't just 20 ships against 20 ships. And that would actually make a certain amount of sense to do that. But first of all, we have the round dish on the Millennium Falcon, of course, and the ships behind it. Some of them look very reminiscent of Rebel ships we've seen in the past. But the worst thing about this, I don't think we're going to see the battle. I think we're going to see the two sides lining up in flashback. I don't think we're going to ever see the battle itself, making this the most gigantic, expensive cock tease in the history of cinema.
We do see them like though with Rose and the horses on.
Yeah, but that could be something else too.
Oh, okay, yeah, that could be.
Maybe they will go back to Canto Bight to free the animals and ignore the children some more. And that's the funny thing. By the way, Becca, since you mentioned the stupid space horses, right?
Yeah. Gravity.
This is so funny to me because there are the Last Jedi haters, right? Which all of us would probably fall into that category based on the spectrum of things. You have the people who, as far as the Last Jedi, they don't really care, and they're just basically non-fans. And then you have the Last Jedi defenders, the few people out there that really like the bold new direction that Rian Johnson tried to take with that film. But the interesting thing about it is that all three of those groups agree on one and only one thing. The Canto Bight sequence sucked balls. And yet what's the one thing they bring back from The Last Jedi? The freaking space horses.
I don't think they're the same things.
Oh, no. I know they're not the same creature, but it's the idea of space horses. I mean, you can't look at that shot and not think about the Canto Bight scene. Especially since Finn's right in the middle of it.
Why are they not? That's why I was singing that song, not just because it's ironic, but because why aren't they just fucking flying away? They're in space.
Right.
In space.
Wild space horses couldn't take me away.
But gravity can. So these are like anti-gravity horses. I got you. BB-8's the only one who should be there. He should be like looking up at them all, just floating away, going, "Wow."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look, BB-8. I didn't even notice BB-8 was in there.
Oh, he's leading the pack.
And where's R2 in all of this? I have the bad feeling that I've heard.
You have a bad feeling about this?
Oh yeah, I've heard some things. Well, that's a flashback. Clearly, that's clearly because they cut away to that. So she's not in the trailer at all.
That's
well. There's little Baba Booey.
Baba Booey.
It's part here where he's like, "I'm taking one last look at my friend."
See, they look like a porg in the shadow in the background there, and it's not.
You are, but I have a picture of Luke, Leia, and Lando, and that big fairy thing in the inside of my lens now. Go away, people.
Baba Booey.
It's actually a battle droid back there, huh? No, I'm looking at him.
Doesn't this look like the dungeon in like Return of the Jedi from like Jabba's
dungeon?
Kind of.
Anyway,
different color filter on it, yeah.
But what's with this looking at my friend's crap? Even though he's spent like
it's to make you feel something.
All right, those aren't his friends.
No. It's to make you feel so. It's to trick the masses into going, oh, C-3PO friends, this is familiar. I remember C-3PO. I remember Luke Skywalker.
First of all,
his friends are dead.
I know.
None of these people are his friends. Second of all, 3PO would be the first people to go, oh, sorry guys, peace out. See ya. I'm saving my own ass. Because that's the type of guy 3PO is. He don't give a shit about anybody but himself. And maybe R2D2. And if he's got a mission, that's about it. As far as these people go, I can't believe he remember their names. Because he's
the same thing
minutes with them.
It's the same thing with Rey and Chewbacca getting the Millennium Falcon. Like, why is she on his ship?
Right.
It's like, we were talking about this, and people actually were commenting this in our reaction, Rob, where we said, where I think you said, it's like he's the fuzzy dice that comes with the ship, or a pet, or something.
Yeah. Chewie was not Han Solo's pet. Chewie was there because he owed Han a life debt.
Yeah, that
Han is
life
gone.
that he didn't eat Han Solo. That's what we learned.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I don't buy that shit either. I still say they should have a much deeper relationship. And
Well, they
reason,
do.
but
They do.
Well, they showered together too.
that's
Yeah,
it.
that's
As long as that fucking it's dumb. It's dumb.
Okay, but still, Han is gone now. Chewie, the life debt is complete. Has been. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's no longer.
It's not an
the
afterlife debt.
Exactly. There's no reason even for Chewie to be here. There's certainly no reason for him to hang around with Rey.
Oh, they're gonna have something where he'll have said that, oh, Han asked me before he died to make sure I watch after the Falcon. Oh, and you too. You watch. You fucking watch. They go, "Rah, rah, rah, rah," and they're like, what did he say? Or wait, can't she understand what he says anyway?
Yeah, she can understand him.
Oh,
now.
that's fucking right. 'Cause I forgot. She's very stupid. I forgot.
Yeah.
See, so that's why I know that's gonna happen. That or she already told him. So it don't fucking matter. It's stupid. It's just I think that she's the twin anyway. So we could get into the leak shit too. But Rob, what was your reaction? You didn't give your reaction. Yeah, neither did Mecca really. I mean, she talked about some things, but I thought it was a whole lot of fucking meh. And I'm like, oh, so all the leaks were true pretty much. So anyway, Rob, what's your take on this shit?
Wow, that's not a biased way to ask.
Oh shit, right? Agree with
I'm
you.
sorry. All right. What was your reaction to this shit?
That's much better. Much better. It was your use of the word take that I took offense to.
I figured.
Yeah.
Oh. Do I have to watch this? Do I really have to watch this?
Rob, have you watched anything yet? Really?
I went to Captain Marvel.
That was what, 2 years ago now?
That was in like spring. It feels like 2 years. God, it feels like we've been talking about this.
It's like 2 years ago. So yeah.
I saw Endgame.
Oh, you did go see Endgame, didn't you?
Yeah.
So that was like a month or two after her, wasn't it?
He still hasn't gotten better internet. How many years have we been bitching at that?
Yeah, Rob is still living in 1982. Okay, just let it be.
Hey, are Transformers on this week?
It's a little closer to like 1994.
Well, he wants to be in 1982 when there were still two good Star Wars movies. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. We had Raiders of the Lost Ark. Oh, that's the next one she's gonna ruin.
She already ruined fucking Indiana Jones. I mean, sorry, Crystal Skull was not that good of a movie.
No, it wasn't.
No, that's George's fault. We can't
I find Indiana Jones problematic. Therefore,
I find Kathleen Kennedy's bitch face problematic.
I must therefore ruin it for everybody.
First of all, I think that you're being unfair, Mecca, because I saw a sneak peek of the script for Indiana Jones and the Ovaries of Salvation, and it looks like it's going to be a great movie.
I wish I thought of that.
So yeah, what'd you think of the trailer, Rob?
I'm channeling my inner Archie Bunker. Meathead, you're a meathead, dead from the neck up.
That didn't look like no Star Wars movie that I ever saw.
It looks like a bunch of people cosplaying as Star. It looks like a damn. That's what it looks like. It looks like a cosplay fan film with a bunch of people I don't care about. I've seen these movies once recently. This looks like Harry Potter's Star Wars to me.
You know what? Actually, the funny thing, Becky, you just nailed it, because when you said they look like cosplay, look at the picture on the screen right now and look at Poe. And he looks like right now, he's like, yeah, this is my Han Solo getup, right? Right? This is Han Solo, isn't it? You know, that's
your Nathan Drake outfit, and you know it. Go find an artifact and parkour and climb up a building.
And then freaking Rey is like Ray, she's like, I could be Luke Skywalker. Why can't Luke Skywalker be a girl? Who says Luke Skywalker can be a girl?
She's Luke Skywalker and Han Solo in these, though. There's not a.
Can you go back to the previous picture for just a second? I got one more thing that I just realized about that picture. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Rey look at the look on her face, the way she's looking at Chewbacca, like she's thinking, I really dig the taste of carpet. I'm just saying. That could be why she,
I had a feeling she was a carpet muncher.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you notice they haven't changed her costume at all, and
No.
it's probably to do with the fact that they had to CGI in some of the Carrie Fisher stuff.
I don't know about that because I've heard that argument and I get that, but I don't think that's such a problem because there's this shot here. I'll show you. I don't have the comparison shot, but there's this shot that's almost the exact same shot as The Force Awakens.
Oh, the Finn one where he's running?
Yes, but he doesn't have the lightsaber in his hand either.
Yeah.
But they have him really quickly put his hands up to his face and put him down for no good reason.
Ray!
Or he even shout.
Yeah, this is where he's...
But that's because when he's coming in, originally there's this movement with him in that his hands like this, but he had the lightsaber in his hand. That's why. So I think they covered that up by him going like this real quick for no good reason. I think that's the exact same shot, though. They just changed his costume. So I really don't think that's a problem. Changing a costume, doing a CGI version of a costume or anything like that isn't a big deal anymore. No. I really don't think that's so much the problem.
So there's copy and pasting last movie. Because, I mean, he's already copying and pasting. This is another thing we've noticed in this trailer. There's so many shots that are taken from other things, like iconic things, like the Enterprise rising out of the water.
Yeah. Here's this one here. It's kind of a shitty take of it, but yeah, that's the Star Destroyer raising up out of the water, just like the Enterprise. Yep.
Right. Yeah, and then there are people comparing the throne room of Game of Thrones in the final season, like the same, just the exact same placement of the actors, it's the same shot basically, and there's nothing wrong with paying homage. But when your entire movie is copy and paste, and you are the king of copy and paste anyway, it's like, oh, let me copy and paste it, and I'll just add a lens flare because he's just got a lens flare chubby for some reason. He just loves it. But yeah, it's lazy, and this is exactly what they're doing all throughout Hollywood, and they've been doing it for like the past 20 years. It seems like for a lot of films, and not everybody does it, but it's enough of it to be annoying. It's enough of it to really turn people off of cinema. It's enough for people like the fandom menace to have these uprisings where we're like, we're tired of this crap. We're tired of your bad movies. We're tired of the media attacking us, and I get so many people lately. Well, this is the other thing that's happening lately. They're coming out in droves just to try and discredit you, to try and shut you up, to try and say your opinion is invalid or your reporting is bad or whatever. And a lot of it is because the news sites and the shill sites don't get views and clicks because the majority of people out there, I think, are getting kind of tired of the crap who are paying attention to it. So yeah, it looks like crap to me, this trailer. Too many people I don't care about with too much CGI and yeah. And I know it's Star Wars. They're doing them all in CGI now, but...
What, you mean you don't like little Babu Frick there?
Baba Booey.
Not really, no. I mean, and that's the other thing. Do you remember the last trailer? Well, for Last Jedi anyway. I remember getting excited for that movie. It looked like it was going to be a good movie. It looks like, okay, good. Now we're getting Star Wars again. This last one was just a setup, and now we're getting Star Wars. And oh my god, it's a porg. It's cute. Oh, cool. It's a crystal fox. This is awesome. Oh, look, there's Luke Skywalker. What's he doing? And now nothing. This makes me feel nothing. This makes me not want to go out and buy toys. What toys will they give you with this? Star Wars. It's for kids, right? It's for kids, according to Freddie Prinze Jr. Where's the toys? Where's anything that I could buy?
It's fucking kids, dog.
Yeah, where's anything I could buy in this movie?
Well, you're going to be able to buy the little thing that's fixing C-3PO, of course.
Barely. He's in one of the little sets, but he's tiny. That's the other thing. They made him so damn tiny that you can't even buy a toy of him.
No, it'd be a life-size toy.
I suppose. Oh, and the Do, the new fucking droid that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
Doe.
Do. That's the better name for him.
So they've
All right. Let's
Welcome
talk
up.
about this.
going around the desert. That Mikey Spock and Philippa Georgie were going around.
Hey, I remember the Death Star. I saw Star Wars.
Well, no, everybody thought this was Endor, right?
Yeah.
Well, the forest part.
I
Yeah.
thought this was Endor. Okay. Well, guess what? Evidently, it's not Endor. So let's bring this story up here, Rob. Yeah. Star Wars Episode 9, Planet with Death Star Wreckage named. It's not Endor. It's named
Kerfluffle. For God's sake. Name the planet where the second Death Star wreckage is at in Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker has been confirmed, and it isn't Endor. Why isn't it Endor?
Right.
Well, for one, if something that big hit the moon of Endor, which is actually where they were, not Endor. Endor was the planet below them.
Yeah, they were on the forest moon of Endor.
Moons of, I think, 9 or 12, something like that surrounded. So it would have took out
moon.
If it's another moon, it must be a big ass moon. Because I'm sorry, if this hit Earth, it would cause issues.
Yeah, if something that big hit Earth, it would be, devastating.
Cause a huge tidal wave, all kinds of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on. Is an Endor. The marketing for Star Wars 9 has been full of surprises, mystery boxes from the beginning. The first trailer revealed that Palpatine is returning, and the most recent trailer offered up even more insight into how Skywalker saga will end. Mystery box. While the return of the Emperor has been a big focus, mystery box, the trailers have also shown what remains of the second Death Star will be important as well. The footage from I'm losing the will to live. I'm losing the will to live.
Going off another mystery box.
So they have a Nibbler plushie and a Hypnotoad plushie.
Oh, Lloyd with a hypno turd.
Everybody loves Hypnoturd. Anyway, the footage from Rise of Skywalker has made the Death Star a key location for the story as Rey, Finn, Poe journey to it. But we've also come to learn that Rey and Kylo will meet once again here and engage in a big lightsaber fight that took 6 days to film. And it looks like it looks like they took 10 minutes to train for it.
They forgot to add 6 months to that.
Oh. As exciting of
days, probably.
I'm sorry, that fight scene, I went off on that in my trailer review. It looks like crap. I mean, they really look like they're wildly swinging at random.
Yeah, they do. And it just looks like a dust. The old cartoon dust clouds. Is it sad that the end scene or the end battle scene in Twilight, the last Twilight movie, and I watch them with riff tracks, full disclosure, because they're kind of hilarious to watch with riff tracks, the guys from Mystery Science Theater. The final battle there looked actually pretty decent. I wonder if they're going to pull a Twilight, though, and make it all, and then it doesn't happen, and then it's all a dream.
No.
Yeah, so spoiler for Twilight, not that anyone cares.
The prevailing theory was that this could be Endor itself, while the more recent suggestions mentioned Camino as a possibility. Camino is an ocean planet, but that is not the case.
That wouldn't make sense. I mean, because if Camino is out beyond the outer rim, how would a chunk of the Death Star have gotten out there?
Yeah.
It would take centuries for it to reach there.
Right.
Yes, but it's J.J. Abrams. He thinks you can transport from Earth to the Klingon homeworld, right? Isn't that something that happened in one of the J.J. Star Treks? I don't remember.
Yes.
Ugh.
They had a MacGuffin to help do that.
Can we have J.J. arrested for bad filmmaking?
Sadly, no. Unless we lived in North Korea.
Can we send
Yeah, let's-
JJ to North Korea?
That's not a bad idea. Lucasfilm announced today in a press release that Star Tours: The Adventure Continues is getting some updates at the end of this year because of the Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker film. These updates will add a mission to Death Star wreckage, and is how Lucasfilm revealed the name of this oceanic moon. Here it comes, Kef Bir. No other information on Kef Bir. Kef Bir has been made available at this time, so its location in the galaxy is unclear. Even though many have hoped for Endor itself will be featured in Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker, the planet has yet to be properly shown. Star Wars: Return of the Jedi is the only feature the forest moon of Endor, which is one of the 9 moon planets that orbit the gas giant that is Endor. Kef Bir may not be Endor, but there is still the possibility that the oceanic moon could be one of the other 8 that orbit the planet. Whether Kef Bir is part of the or not is likely not too far away from these familiar Star Wars locations if the Death Star wreckage crashed on it. Kef Bir is now the latest planet confirmed to be part of the Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker. I'm losing the will to live reading this. The trailers have featured the stand planet of Pisana. Okay, so we have not Tatooine. We have not Endor. What else do we have?
And now we have not. Oh god, now I just forgot the name of
Hoth.
it.
Well, this whole thing is not
Not
Star
Hoth.
Wars.
Yeah, not Hoth and not fuck. What's the name of the ocean planet from part 2?
Camino.
Camino.
Camino. Not
I
Camino.
should know that. Not El Camino. Got it.
We've also seen glimpses of Kim Jimmy, whatever.
Kimmy Gibbler. Kimmy Gibbler's in this.
Rocky home, a rocky snowy planet that is the home of the Resistance. Blah blah blah.
A rocky soy planet.
Yeah, whatever. Might as well be. At this point, oh, it's the rocky planet that is home to Zori Bliss, Kerry Russell, and
probably can pronounce Kef Bir. So, but still, Kef Bir is funny.
Yeah,
I think it's Kif. I think you're mispronouncing it's Kif. It's Zap Brannigan's sidekick's brand of beer. It's Kif beer.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Well, anyway, there's Zori Bliss and little Baba Booey.
Baba Booey
are on this planet, the snowy planet, and the Agent Claw. I'm done with this story. Fuck this. I don't care anymore. I don't care. Just make it stop, please. Make somebody stop this.
I'm not seeing this in the theater. I'm not seeing this in the theater. I don't think.
Yes.
I mean, it's gonna be December. It's going to. I don't want to go out. I live in Colorado. It's gonna be cold. It's gonna be snowy. Maybe not too snowy, but still, I mean, it's gonna be cold. I don't want to go out of the house for 3 fucking hours. It's a 2.5 hour. That's the other thing. Did you see the story that it's the longest runtime confirmed?
Just barely over The Last Jedi. Yeah.
But still, I mean, can we have just a 90-minute and done sort of wrap to this? Because you know,
really, you can't.
they could. They could just say, oh, and then Rey and Kylo kiss, and then
the only way they can make this a 90-minute film is if The Last Jedi perfectly set up a textbook ending, which it didn't.
I know.
You know.
Well, they could just retcon it, and then just say, and then they all died. The end.
They had to fix the job that freaking Saroon of Roundhead did, and then they actually have to try to make this thing make sense to end it.
Well, not only that, okay, it had a perfect ending with Return of the Jedi, if you think about it, because our heroes could live on happily ever after, and now it's like going back and seeing, oh yeah, the band you loved, oh well, one of them died penniless in a gutter, the other one's on heroin and has got a needle sticking out of his arm, you know, and that's what it feels like. Oh, and now it's that old pet that you loved, that you have all these fond memories of, oh, now it's time to put them to sleep. And that's all this feels like, is going to put the family pet to sleep. And I don't want to fucking do it. I don't want these characters. I don't want them to die. And that's the first thing that they shouldn't have done is kill off all of these. It's just start killing off all these characters, right? Or disgracing them, or painting them in bad light, in anything, making them less than the heroes that people have built them up in their mind over the years, right? That is the first insult that they did to this trilogy, Ryan Roundhead Motherfucker Johnson. Now, then the next thing that they're doing is they're just trying so desperately to replace everything. Like all of our, it's like they came in, threw out all of our old shit and said, see here, you're going to love it. It's brand new. It's new shit. It's cheaper made. It's more disposable and it's crap. Yeah, but my old thing was made of real wood and it had, memories and heart and was made with love. Yeah, well, this is Walmart furniture. You're going to like it because it's newer, or you're a racist.
They queer-eyed for the straight guy, us, didn't they? They came in, they got rid of all our shit while we were at work.
I don't know.
So you must believe the explosion didn't shatter the Death Star into particles, which we saw. It accelerated enough to break the gravity of the Endor system. Yeah.
Wrong one. Go way back.
Well, hold on. I'm finishing 3. It was able to hit another star system and hit a planet in the habitable zone.
All the way back down.
It attacked enough to reach. Well, it's
now read
it. Life with Matthew, number 23. Spin Spock Spin. Wait, wrong stream. Sorry, Michael Clark, $4.99. Anything else I'm missing?
Okay.
I don't know, but we can't hear any of them when you guys talk over each other, though.
Yeah. Well, he goes backwards.
There we go. Here we go.
There he goes. Spin, Spock. Spin around, Spock. You can do it.
This is better than Discovery and Star Wars now.
There we go. The day Disco died.
That's great. I love that.
All right. Now, was that last one part of 2 different super chats, or is that the only part of it?
No, there were
because otherwise we got Sister Arrows here.
Haro. I don't know where the Aussie Star Wars fans are because there are plenty of tickets for the opening weekend. There's no rush here. Well,
yeah, there's plenty here too, and I'm in a pretty populated
We'll
area.
get into that in just a few minutes. Tim Riggs had 2-parter. That's what it was here. So let's do this again. The explosion didn't shatter the DS into particles, which we saw. It accelerated enough to break gravity of the Endor system. Was able to hit another star system and hit a planet in the habitable zone, and stayed intact through re-entry and didn't burn the up.
And I know people argued, well, like someone said in the chat that even a matter-antimatter explosion from Star Trek leaves debris. Yeah, we're talking about a swath of the Death Star that is miles across and sticking out of the ocean.
Well, not only that,
not a little piece,
Not only that, where the throne room is supposed to be is in one of the spears.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even that part of the Death Star that we see. So that's a whole nother part of the Death Star. So there's anyway. This is the other story that's going on right now. And Rob and I have been, and Mecca and a few other people in the fandom menace, including like Ichibaka and stuff like that, have been digging through this. I think even Jeremy did a video.
Clownfish has too.
Clownfish did a video on this. But we've all kind of been doing some research on this, and Rob and I and Mecca and everybody dug up some interesting shit about this. But you may have seen these headlines. The Rise of Skywalker obliterates Avengers Endgame pre-ticket sale. Let's talk about this a little bit, shall we? Rob, what did we come to find out?
Well, it only obliterated the first hour's ticket sales. That's the important thing to remember.
And only on one little site called Atom.com. Who's heard of AtomTickets.com? I didn't until yesterday.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
All right,
Anybody
looking
in
at-
chat?
What's the official release date of this movie?
20th is the release date, but 19th is the preview day.
Okay. I'm checking something right now. I want to see. I'm checking live right now. I've not looked at my theater to see what kind of tickets are available.
My first showing was mostly picked over, except for a couple here and there.
Yeah, I'd say the first showing is completely sold out except for 2 seats. Second showing, the front row is available. So I mean, there's a good amount of tickets sold for opening day. All right.
Oh yeah. I mean, and they're gonna. I guarantee they're gonna add more screenings, et cetera, et cetera. Nobody is going to not have a chance to see this movie because
Right,
they
well,
want to
there-
make as much box office as they can.
There's more to it. Anyway, Rob, we kind of been working on a video for the main channel. But between you can either go with the Hollywood Reporter, or you could kind of just give them an overview of the video we've been working on, and kind of give them the story here. But first, we got a super chat. Rowan Mangian says with $2.99 Australian, as an Australian, I'm not interested in saying this shit. Good day.
Mm-hmm.
That's all, sir.
Yeah, Alpha J, this is actually a real confirmed fake news. Well, it's spun news. It is like saying that, yay, I won first place in a race that only I entered.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a lot to unpack with this.
Yes.
So let's give Rob the floor for a minute so he can kind of break down what we've kind of discovered.
Adam Films is essentially let's just say certain people have their hands in it. Namely, those people are J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy.
And Disney.
And Disney.
Not Kathleen Kennedy so much, but JJ and Disney.
JJ and Disney. Well, by extension, Kathleen Kennedy, but But it turns so. I wouldn't be so quick for them to say, "Oh, we set all kinds of records," because as the old saying goes, "Shit rolls downhill." And the more I'm looking at, the more we look, the more disingenuous this looks. They are. I don't want to make the accusation that they're double dealing, but it looks like there's some shenanigans going on here.
Well, even before you don't even have to really say, "Oh, there's shenanigans." There's stuff that's right on the surface level that you and I have uncovered for the video that is right there. That is obvious. Okay, first of all, you've got all these headlines that are claiming that it obliterated all these sales. Okay, which it didn't. It just 1 hour of sales. And then the article I have up here buries some interesting information at the end of the article, doesn't it?
I have one quick question about, I don't know how they're calculating this, but are they basing it on dollar value or are they basing it on number of tickets?
I believe it's supposed to be number of tickets sold, and the only record it broke, let's face it, the bottom line, the only record it broke is for the first hour of sales. That was it.
Here's the reason, because one thing that seems kind of odd to me when I look just now on my local theater, there are 2 showings on opening day that are sold out for the most part. But then, and that's a regular screening. Then they have 6 showings same day in 3D. Like they're really pushing the 3D. There's only 2 showings on the 19th in the largest theater in this city. There's only 2 shows showing it that are not 3D.
It's because they get that extra money, and they're going to.
Yeah, this is going to get like $3 more per ticket.
Right, but usually on a big film like this, we'll usually see at the most 50-50. I've never seen it, not since the days of Avatar, because everybody knows that they wanted 3D to be the big thing and it really wasn't. And so nowadays, usually it's the opposite. There'll be 2 or 3 showings in 3D and the rest in regular. But this one, it's like they only made 2 shows available. So I think that if they're bumping up the sales numbers, a lot of it's because they're trying to make it out that it's only going to be in 3D.
Well, we don't even have to accuse them of bumping up any numbers. We'll get into some aspect of this as we get going, because like I said, Rob and I have kind of started to uncover a straight narrative here of what kind of went down in the last 2 days, and what overall this kind of means, and who's pushing what buttons and why, and it's just basically a bunch of hyperbole. It didn't really do anything. Endgame still has the record for the most tickets sold in a day. There's a lot of websites that are running the proper headline as well, though. So we need to say that, right, Rob? Because you found a few CNET and CNBC, you said.
Yeah, full disclosure, there are some like journalistic integrity sites out there. But then there's some people like Scott Mendelson.
Well, in this case, I think this is one where we got capped. Where with Scott Mendelson, we've got like the whole Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing going on with him again, as usual. We'll get into that a little bit more too. I want Rob to. I mean, Rob just because the way we figured it out was we were going through this whole thing, and it's like, we already knew going into it that Atom Tickets is owned by Disney. They're one of the people that back. Yeah. And then we also figured out that through you, Mecca, through Ichibaka and those guys, they uncovered from about a year back, I think it was a year and a half back, that JJ is one of many people who has an investment in this Atom Films. Now, the story didn't come from Atom Films, interestingly enough. That's the funny thing. That's what we found out. Right, Rob?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even though they're tweeting that it does.
Story comes from a guy named Brandon Katz, who works for the Observer. How he got a hold of the story, we're not sure yet.
But
that's
where Scott Wilson comes in.
But what?
Well, but the first person who retweeted this Katz person was Atom Tickets, and then pretty much immediately after, Scott Mendelson went with the exact same tweet that stating that, hey, more than Endgame, pre-sales are more than Endgame, according to Atom Tickets.
But in this article, though, it even flat out says that Endgame beats it.
Yeah, it does, and that's what I was saying. But it's not till the end of the article. But no, the remember, Mecca, the tweet from Scott Mendelson actually goes like this. Here it is. For what it's worth, here I'll bring it up on the screen.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing with Scott Mendelson, he kind of makes me feel weird inside. Like I want to hate him, but then sometimes he does shit like this that makes me want to kiss him. And this is not the first time he's done this.
Well, no, I think he wants to be have journalistic integrity, because he'll have a lot of right things, but he also has to do the clickbait headlines.
And I know we're like really building this up, and it's like, okay, so he tweets out, and this is the retweet from Atom Tickets as well. They retweeted this as well, like Mecca said. For what it's worth, Atom Tickets is reporting that Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker sold more tickets in the first hour pre-sales than any movie in the company's history, besting and Avengers Endgame. Now, there's two very important things he says here. For what it's worth, Atom Tickets is reporting. Okay, we went through Atom Tickets Twitter. Nowhere on their site do they report this anywhere.
No.
Secondly, he says in the company's history, okay? So what he's telling us with this tweet, and this is my interpreting this tweet, so do take this with a grain of salt, of course. He's telling us that Atom Tickets called him and told him to report that this happened. Okay. And he made sure to also say that it was only according to Atom Tickets, because Fandango hasn't said shit.
No.
Right. Yeah, Fandango said that might carry a little more weight.
Right. Well, here's the other side of it. Fandango is also owned by their largest competitors, Warner Brothers,
right, and
Universal. So there's that aspect to it that needs to be said. In the fairness of no spin, that does need to be said. Okay, so like I said, I have a feeling that Atom Tickets put this out there, and on behalf of Disney, to try and stir up a little bit of news. Because then after that, that's when Hollywood Reporter drops this story. And Rob, this is actually not that long of a story if you want to read it real quick, because we do have some super chats.
In its first 24 hours, the December tentpole has exceeded all other titles in the storied series. J.J. Abrams' Rise of Skywalker is already breaking records 2 months ahead of its scheduled release in theaters. In its first 24 hours, Lucasfilm Disney tentpole has racked up more advanced ticket sales than any other previous title in the storied series, according to online service Atom Tickets. Tickets went on sale late Monday, tied to the release of the trailer, which aired during ESPN's Monday Night Football. The cast includes yada 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 yada. Nobody cares. 155 minutes. Nobody cares. Rises as it. Okay, down the bottom. Hold on. Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker is set to bow December 20th. Is Adam's second biggest title in first day sales behind Marvel Disney's Avengers Endgame, and has sold 2.5 times as many tickets as Star Wars: The Last Jedi. As it stands, Atom Tickets says its list of best-selling titles in the first 24 hours are Avengers Endgame, Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker, Aquaman, Star Wars: Last Jedi, and Avengers Infinity War.
So,
But let me ask you guys, how long has Atom Tickets been around?
Who knows?
I mean,
since like 2012 or 2016.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
they're really
who
recent.
buys tickets through Atom Tickets? I'd never have.
Nobody.
Nobody.
right. That's the other thing that is going to be a part of the video coming up here too. Is first of all, in the last couple years, every single big movie that comes out breaks these records.
Mhm.
Right.
That doesn't really mean shit. Solo beat it. Ghostbusters beat opening day record thingies with
Yep.
the pre. Guess what? Every major movie is going to do that because more and more people every day are using their phones now to order tickets.
Right.
Because more and more places now are starting to do more reserved seating, I've noticed. Because this is the first time in history I got a theater nearby that actually has reserved seating for the first time ever.
Oh,
I've
that's
ever had
awesome.
to do
It is so awesome that way.
Oh yeah, I only
No
do.
point. I do agree. It's great because like people like me like to show up to shit late. That's nice. So, but otherwise, it's just like when DVDs first came out, right? Every single big movie that came out on DVD was the #1 best-selling DVD of all time until the sales finally started leveling out. And then it was shit like, the cream of the crop would finally start rising to the top. And then you'd see, oh, well, this is really going to be a big deal, like Avatar and shit. By the time that came out on DVD, DVD was already a thing. So that was when you knew that this was a big deal. We're getting to a point now, like I said, where every single, like Jumanji or whatever, probably will break some records too. You watch. Nobody's going to say anything about that, though. And just like they buried in this story that it still didn't break the opening day record of sales. So Endgame is still #1. So this don't mean shit. And I know everybody's using this as a big argument on their behalf if they're one of the Disney Star Wars supporters. So that's the thing, folks. It didn't break any real records at all.
No. And the thing about this too is that all this is really telling us is that Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker is going to have a big opening weekend. Well, no freaking kidding. It's going to have a big opening. It's a Star Wars movie. Well, yes, it's going to have a big opening weekend. The real question is, how's it going to do its second week?
Well, I've noticed this too in the last few big movies I've went to. Now, going back to like Captain Marvel, there was like 3 or 4 other movies playing at the same time on the night it opened, but all the rest of the theaters had Captain Marvel. When Endgame came out, there was only like 2 movies showing an Endgame. By the time you get to Joker, there was like no other movie showing that night. Every single theater in like the 18 theaters, whatever's in this place, all were showing Joker. So of course it can break records if it's got every seat in the house.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Of course it can break records if you're a little teeny little website that nobody uses.
And then there's that aspect of which we've gotten into. We need super chats real quick before they disappear, Rob, because there's quite a few of them here. Jaybird, I believe, was the first one. Let me double check.
Jaybird. Great Disney Lucasfilm video. It reminded me of a Bill Gates quote: "If you hire A people, they'll also hire A people. But if you hire B people, they'll hire C people, and then it's all over." B is Kennedy, C is Rand Johnson. Yep. $9.99 Mexican Iron Man. Hail Midnight's Edge. Boo to Disney. Ticket purchase marketing budget. Hail Anti-Checker. Let's get ready to rumble. The fandom versus Star Wars begin. Disney begins. Winter is coming, my wise friends. And that's it.
I think that. No, there's another one here. I thought, yep.
JB. JB Seats 120ER1.
Now
Any
that's a
news on
great username right there. That's one of those usernames that just rolls off the tongue. JBC120ER1. I just love that.
any news on the 24-hour trailer view count? Last trailer set records for views, but I haven't heard anything about this one.
I haven't heard any stories out there about that. I know the dislike to like ratio wasn't the best, but it was really oddly low for how many views it had, because it had like 11 million views and only like a total of 500,000 votes.
Yeah, the like to dislike is really, well, the dislike isn't like, it's not like Ghostbusters high, but there's a lot of dislikes on there, and I think there's a lot of people who are just like, meh. I didn't give a like or a dislike because I'm like, I don't either. I don't like it or dislike it because there's nothing there.
As of right now, it has 17 million views, 347,000 likes, 57,000 dislikes. So while not a great ratio, obviously not a train wreck like some movies we've seen.
No, I mean, it's going to be Star Wars. It's going to be successful anyway. It's probably going to do a really decent box office just because it's the last one and so many people are going to feel obligated to go. It might even be something that I go see like after a couple of weeks. I'll take my mom or something because she'll want to see the last one. That's kind of how it is, because you see enough of them, you're kind of obligated. So a lot of normies will be watching it, but
I still think my personal prediction on this movie, I think anything less than $2 billion on the total ticket sales is a fail at this point, because it's freaking Star Wars. It's supposed to be the final chapter of the Star Wars or the Skywalker saga. This should be the biggest film in history. It's not going to be. It's not going to be Endgame. It's probably not going to beat The Force Awakens. I think that we're probably going to look at between 800 million and 1.5 billion, which will be a box office letdown. If they don't make 2 billion, then Disney just made a bad move buying Lucasfilm.
I don't think they'll make 2 billion because China. I think it'll probably make $1 billion because obligation. I don't think it's going to have a lot of repeat views because it's going to be a bummer. Right. What The Force Awakens make like
2 point something.
Okay. It was like 900 domestic, right?
Yeah, and it was also a half hour less too, so the ability to show more times in a day. But again, like I reiterate, opening weekend they'll probably have 15 out of 20 theaters in most places,
and they'll do a 4-day total again, and
some shit like that, yeah. And they were selling some. Oh, and they were even doing one better is they were selling like collectible tickets. These were $10 plastic tickets, folks. Woo!
Oh, and they have a new thing too, where like if you see it, you get a different collectible for each week you see it, because they want to try and stretch it out for the whole month.
So The Force Awakens made 2.06 billion, so just over 2 billion. And The Last Jedi made 1.3 billion. If this
a lot less.
Yeah. If this film can't top The Last Jedi in box office, the Star Wars franchise is over. It's absolutely, because if they're showing diminishing returns of that kind of magnitude and it stays like that, Solo they can write off as being it's not one of the episodic films. That was their big excuse.
But I think that was a preview. Go ahead. Sorry.
And Episode 8 they wrote off as being, well, it didn't have the excitement of the return of Star Wars that Episode 7 had. That's their excuse there. Yeah,
but and the middle ones tend to do weird anyway, right? Or since the prequels anyway, right?
No, if Episode 9 does not shatter Episode 8, there's no excuse. There's got nothing.
You could go and say as much now, but what both of you are kind of saying is, at least in my opinion anyway, I'll say it that way. As far as like with the first Force Awakens, yes, you did have the pent up, I got to go see this because it's Star Wars and it's been 20 years kind of thing, right? I get that. But usually nowadays, the way these things go is if you're on an upward trajectory, like look at Marvel.
Right.
This is not going the way of Marvel, not by a long shot. It's doing the opposite.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because if you think about it, The Last Jedi should have made at least close to, if not more, than The Force Awakens.
Yeah, it didn't even make it by closely. Like,
yeah,
at least Episode 2 made close to what Episode 1 made, and then of course Episode 3 did a little better because that was the last one.
Actually, I think that one might have did less, but I could be wrong. I have to look. I think the Phantom Menace beat them all, but
Oh, did it? Okay, it might have beaten them all.
that's the thing with Star Wars is they do have, for some reason, Star Wars has always had this downward thing. But in most movies, the sequel will do the better. And even like look at the Spider-Man franchise, part 3 did the best of all three of those, even though it's the least liked. So usually when these franchises are on an upward trajectory, the sequels will always do more because there's the more demand. More people have seen it on video, so you'll have a bigger audience.
Mhm.
That's how Marvel's been able to build up this thing over the last.
Yeah, and people are hyped for it, and people want to. Yeah, it's like the same thing with the Star Trek merchandising and stuff. You know, they made fewer merchandising things because the movie before it sucked, and then it's the same thing. Like if the movie before it sucks, you're less likely to go. You know, like The Force Awakens was pretty decent ish until you see The Last Jedi. I mean, it wasn't that
Word of
bad.
mouth killed The Last Jedi.
I
And
liked
yes.
The Force Awakens up until the ending. I think the ending for The Force Awakens was crap, but overall, I thought the movie was good.
The Last Jedi, if you look at it, The Last Jedi, I think, had a bigger opening than The Force Awakens, didn't it? Or close to it. Same.
I don't think it did. No, I don't think it did. Because I think Force Awakens turned off enough people.
Yeah, because
where-
Force Awakens was divisive, but not to the point where the fan base is like literally trying to.
Right, but you've seen that huge decline that second weekend, though, is what I remember.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty steep decline.
I
And
saw
Word
it
of Mouth
twice in
killed.
the theater. Force Awakens. Last Jedi, I only saw once.
Same here. So Rob, there is a super chat here.
There is. Final Death Star, $4.99. Walking into work, just sending the love for this awesome panel. Sorry I couldn't make it on this week. Tell that Sporting News hello. Oh, okay. Hello.
And we had one before that.
They still publish the Sporting News? They used to. Let
Oh,
me see.
I wouldn't know.
go publish anything?
Sports ball.
Tiberius Monk, yes. Tiberius Monk 84. I'm more excited for The Mandalorian and Jedi Fallen Order than the rise of mediocrity. Speaking the truth to power against the powerful. Y'all rock.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
So
you,
yeah, this
Ka-ching.
sounds like a big load of crap, doesn't it, Rob?
Oh,
Speaking of
This-
Mandalorian, though, they're giving away Disney Plus with Verizon.
mhm.
Yeah, we saw that too. But Rob, anyway, the final thoughts on the whole ticket thing before we can get off of that.
Go see Ford versus Ferrari opening November 15th. I'm not being paid to say that. I'm just
You're just a car
Saying.
person.
that's right.
Took him to a car show.
Automobile.
Wow.
That's not funny. Don't ever do that again.
Anyway.
What happened to the automobile? Automobile.
No, I said don't ever do that again. I mean it.
And then you laugh. That's the problem.
That's because I'm high.
Now, when you talk about the declining versus gaining on box office, I think you really hit the nail on the head. Is that Marvel? They built up a brand, they built up a story, and of course, the climax of the whole thing, where everybody, because if you think about it, Endgame very much built up similar to Episode 9. It's the end of the Infinity Saga. This is it. Everybody knew going in that one way or another, the original Avengers, this was the end of their story. And it's the highest grossing film of all time, right? Almost 2.8 billion. But then if you look at the top 10, Avengers has the number 1 spot, it has the number 5 spot, and it has the number 8 spot, and it has the number 10 spot. And it's all because, and the older ones are lower on the list. They've been building that audience over time. So Infinity War is the 5th highest grossing film of all time, and one of the only 5 films of all time that ever broke 2 billion. Where Endgame, biggest moneymaker of all time, and then going back to the first Avengers, only 1.5 billion. But with Star Wars, we're seeing the exact opposite. The Force Awakens is outgrossed any other modern Star Wars film, and probably always will.
Well, and then not only that, look at how bad Solo was affected, regardless of it being an Elseworld story, or not Elseworld, but a spin-off story or whatever.
Solo's problem was just that nobody was excited about Star Wars after they got burned with The Last Jedi.
Well, Rogue One squashes that because Rogue One did well. It didn't
Rogue
do great.
One, but Rogue One was also, and this is the difference between Rogue One, Solo, and The Last Jedi. The big difference: Rogue One was a decent movie.
But
Sorry, it was.
Yeah, that's the only one that I think that gets any praise out of most people. Like the only one I really liked was Rogue One. That's about it. And I only like the last half of that, as most people say. It's like I liked Rogue One. I call it, Quentin Tarantino's Rogue Bastard. But
I don't really. Rogue One was not a great Star Wars film, but it was an enjoyable sci-fi romp. Right? That's kind of how I looked at it.
It's Inglourious Bastards in Star Wars.
Yeah.
If anybody's seen Inglourious Bastards, you know what I'm talking about. It starts off the same, it ends the same. It's the same fucking movie.
I just, but when you look at like The Force Awakens. Honestly, I think that they could, when The Force Awakens came out, I was like, okay, yeah, the whole thing with Rey beating Kylo at the end was stupid. But Rey being a Mary Sue is stupid. But if you just tweak that, you've got something really special going on here. And then the Last Jedi, of course, they dumped my avatar all over Star Wars and didn't look back. But the thing is that after Force Awakens, we got Rogue One, and we were like, okay, so not only are they setting up a decent new storyline for the episodic movies, but hey, this Rogue One, this whole spin-off movie, not a bad idea. It's actually interesting to see some stuff, even though it was unnecessary. It was a fun movie. And then what happened? Did Kathleen Kennedy just suddenly have an aneurysm and did nobody pay attention to the fact? I mean, because the fandom menace was out there. We were all out there saying, guys, don't make Rey into a Mary Sue. We don't want to have characters that are boring, uninteresting, and overpowered. We want characters like Luke from the original trilogy that you never thought Luke could beat Vader, especially after Empire. And Empire, Luke got his ass handed to him by Vader, and that was awesome. So that when they faced off in the third film, and we were all thinking Luke is screwed, and of course he comes out on top. But and the real battle was with the dark side, kind of thing, and that was actually well done. Now we're just like, Rey can't lose. How is there any sense of worry for Rey in this film at all?
$2, Dr. Coffin Nails. Don't let Cecil be a mod. He'll ban everyone. SOB. Okay.
I'd like to get him on the show, period.
But he's right. Don't let him be a model, ban everyone.
Kathleen Kennedy cannot let Rey have any weaknesses. That's the thing.
Right. And that's horrible. That's like, here's the thing. My wife and I, and we're actually for Halloween, we're going to do a little podcast style video about the life and times of Michael Myers, right, from the Halloween franchise. And there's a couple of interesting things that I noticed because we just finished rewatching all of the Halloween films. Number one, even though the people have differing ideas as to what makes a good or bad horror movie, particularly a slasher movie or something, most people agree that Halloween 1, Halloween 2, Halloween H2O, and the recent Halloween are the good ones, right? Where Halloween 3, the Return of Michael Myers, Curse of Michael Myers, Revenge of Michael Myers, and the Rob Zombie Halloween films are kind of on a lower scale.
Well, actually, Halloween 3 on its own thing. I don't even consider that.
Well, I know Halloween 3 is like this alternate reality.
Right. I think it's unfair to compare it to the other film.
But it is part of the franchise. You kind of,
Good point, yeah. But I think even on its own, it's a great movie. So that's just,
but here's the thing. What's the difference between the good ones and the crap in the Halloween franchise? Laurie effing Strode. Laurie Strode, played not by what's her face from the Rob Zombie films, but by oh my gosh,
Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah,
Jamie Lee Curtis. Thank you. I can't believe I spaced that. But Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode is what made Halloween great, not Michael Myers. And her character was as flawed as they get, especially for anybody that's seen the most recent Halloween film. She is messed up in that movie. And she was messed up in Halloween 2. She was messed up in H2O. And, she was scared out of her mind in the first movie. She was not invincible. If Kathleen Kennedy had produced Halloween in the first film, Michael would have broken into the house and Laurie Strode would have just kicked his ass. You know,
Well, that kind of goes for a lot of horror movies, the whole final girl thing. I mean, just look at somebody like Alice from Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Mhm.
Totally flawed, but then by the end of it, she keeps building and building and building, and by the end of it, she's a badass. But then she kind of comes back down to normal when she's in her normal realm, but she's a lot more confident. She's even Nancy was pretty. And those like
I'm your
anytime you have the
boyfriend
good.
now, Nancy.
Yeah, anytime you have like the good final girls, those are pretty much the well-regarded horror movies too. Because 2 wasn't that well regarded, but you didn't really have a final girl. You had that was a much different movie. I have a great appreciation for it now, but it's a different movie. If you look at it from this is a story of a guy dealing with the fact that he's gay, then it makes a lot more sense.
Yes.
But
no, I agree. And hint, hint, we have a interview with Lisa Wilcox finally going to see the light of day real soon.
Ah, sweet. God, that was from last year. Holy shit.
No, I'm working on it. Folks.
I know. And she is every bit as amazing as Alice, she's sweet, wonderful, kind.
So yeah.
Well, speaking of stuff that's bad, some of the first reviews for Terminator are hitting the interwebs.
Oh, how's
saying
the LGBT 2000 doing?
Yeah, the LGBTQ. They're saying it's the best since T2, which isn't much. That's not saying much.
Yeah, that's like, hey, it's the best one of the crappy ones. That's.
Well, the BBC says Terminator Dark Fate review. Please terminate this franchise.
Yeah, they're getting mixed reviews. They're getting it's the best of the worst, but yeah, we haven't had a good one since T2.
And of course, the Mary Sue is complaining, oh my god, it's getting mixed reviews, but there's strong female characters.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm not going to see it because Terminator ended in 1991 or 92.
You ruined one of the best female characters in history by making her a failure in this movie.
You wanted flawed female characters. That's what they'll say.
Are you talking about what with Sarah Connor?
Just so they can build up this new chick, yeah.
Right. Well, but here's the thing. I'll tell you this much: is that as I learned a little bit more about how the plot structure is in LGB 2000, that the idea that basically Sarah Connor in T2 was successful in preventing Judgment Day, and that ended her story and John Connor's story. However, then a new timeline arose where later on there was another Judgment Day. There was another great leader who happens to be this chick that everybody's trying to protect in this movie, and but then with the human hybrid LGB 2000 Terminator, I'm like, that seems kind of stupid. If I understand Terminator, the funny thing is, I still think, I know a lot of people think this is blasphemy to say this, I still think the original Terminator is the best of the franchise, and it's simple, it's to the point. And it's classic horror with a sci-fi twist, an invincible killing machine trying to kill a girl. That's your classic horror movie setup. It's just that instead of having a supernaturally invincible creature, you have a robot, and you make it a very scary robot. This is the kind of franchise you can wash, rinse, repeat. You can say, okay, that timeline was fixed, but a new one comes up, but now you want to make the LGB 2000 every time I see her, I'm cringing because she just looks like she's a walking billboard for SJW.
We got a super chat from Tiberius Monk.
Tiberius Monk, Tiberius Monk, Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite horror series. And Matt G, $2. Did Army of Darkness do better than Ed 1 and 2? Ed?
Evil Dead 1 and 2, yeah, probably because Universal released that, so it actually had wide distribution. That's probably why, if it did.
Well, and Evil Dead 1 and 2 are such a disjointed kind of, it's so weird when if you watch them back to back, it's so messed up because Evil Dead 2, is it a sequel? Is it a reboot? It's kind of both, Because I don't know if you guys are fans of those movies. I didn't care for Army of Darkness that much, but with Evil Dead 2, which is I think the best of the bunch, they make references to the events of the first Evil Dead, but then they also make references that this is like the first time that this stuff has happened, even though it happened before.
It's kind of like a reboot quel.
Yeah, it's weird the way they do that.
I actually like Army of Darkness quite a bit, especially more over the years. But
Yeah,
basically,
I liked it more when I was a kid, for sure. Army of Darkness, but
you can actually cut all three movies together seamlessly, and it cuts out any of the confusion. It's weird. It's really odd, but you can.
Try to cut out a couple of scenes.
All you have to do is cut out the beginning parts of most of them. Like, yeah, the part 2 cuts in when Ash is spinning around. In at the very end there's a spot where you can splice it perfectly in with the footage that's there. And then same thing at the end of part 2 going into part 3, there's a spot. And it's weird because then it's like one whole long movie. So it's almost like Raimi planned it that way, but at the same time, you don't have to have seen Evil Dead 1 to like Evil Dead 2. You don't really have to have seen the first 2 Evil Dead movies to see Army of Darkness and so on like that. So they recap everything.
Okay.
Rob doesn't like horror.
No.
No.
But Evil Dead 3 is probably a little bit more up his alley. He might like Army of Darkness, but maybe not. That's just
I don't know if I'd still like it though. I haven't seen it in so long.
It's the most comedic of all of them.
Yeah, well, I think that's probably why I liked it. It was funny, but now I got to remember. Okay, do I like? I got to go back and rewatch it. I haven't seen it in so long.
The theatrical version has some of my favorite lines, like "Good, bad, I'm the one with the gun."
Yeah, it's very quotable. See, I remember being very quotable.
Give me some sugar, baby.
But God, it's been a long time since I've seen those.
Oh shit! We got another $2 super chat.
Captain Hair, ugh, I'm filled with so much hate.
Let go of your anger, Captain Hair.
Let go of your anger.
Just as you let go of your hair.
Hey, I let go of my hair. Not willingly, though. So, Knicks are down 6. Knicks. Why do I keep talking?
Dr. Coffin Nails wants to know if anybody's cut them together. I did years ago on tape. My buddy and I had all 3 movies, and I just dubbed them all on a tape together in like one big, huge 3-hour plus version. It was like 4 hours, something like that.
It's a lot of screaming to listen to for 4 hours, though.
It did, though. It just happened to work out perfectly. I don't know.
Especially those first 2. It's like I think that's why I don't go back and rewatch, because it's just like, okay.
Well, the first one's a difficult watch. Yeah, I mean, if you're not somebody who's really into it, the first one's the toughest one to watch, and I think that's why they do a lot of the recap in part 2. Annie Trekker, because I'm sure a lot of people told them, you got to do something because nobody's going to watch this first movie, or nobody watched the first movie, kind of thing. And the second movie was still independent, but it had some money behind it from like a small distribution company or some shit, and then or a video company, I can't remember what. And then,
well, how many times did they have sequels to things that just made no sense at all anyway? Like, look at the Return of the Living Dead sequels. They have the same guys coming back as different characters in Return of the Living Dead 2. So,
well, I think that type of reboot-quel, as you called it, that type of thing, the best I've seen it done is probably the Robert Rodriguez Mexican trilogy, because if you've never seen El Mariachi, you're perfectly fine. It doesn't matter. But if you do see it, it kind of fills in a little backstory that's kind of cool. So it's one of those things where Evil Dead 2, calling it Evil Dead 2 was a mistake, because then people are thinking, well, wait, I shouldn't go see it. I haven't seen Evil Dead. So like if Desperado, which was one of my favorite Westerns of all time, if Desperado was called El Mariachi 2, a lot of people wouldn't have bothered to see it because nobody had heard of El Mariachi.
And then to confuse matters worse, Universal wouldn't let him call the third film Army of Darkness versus Ash, or Ash versus the Evil Dead, or Evil Dead 3. They only let him call it Army of Darkness. They should have made him call part 2 like Beyond the Evil Dead or something like that.
Right.
It should have just been Evil Dead, Dead by Dawn.
Or something. Yeah,
they already had that in the subtitle.
Well, yeah, it's something to just differentiate it from the first one, but not necessarily say it's part 2.
Right.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, it is what it is. And then there's things that's weird because, like, I don't know if it's the same way anymore, but Bruce Campbell, for the longest time, wouldn't sign anything from Army of Darkness because they were having some beef with Universal over it. And then I think after the Ash versus Evil Dead series started, that beef went away because that's actually produced by Universal through Stars and whatnot, or was anyway. So anyway, we went on that for way too long. But it is almost Halloween, so that was nice to have a little horror movie talk. And Rob's just like, I've got
Charlie
stuck for like
Brown.
30 seconds. Yeah, I'm waiting for the Great Pumpkin over here. Oh,
I
I got
a sports ball.
sports balls on.
It's always on. Apparently, it's always on. Like they never stop airing sports ball of some kind.
Well, that's what ESPN and shit's for. So
If you live if on the East Coast, it's 12 months a year.
you can thank Bob Iger for half that crap.
Bob Iger can suck my dick.
Oh my. Oh.
Sorry, I'm tired. I'm tired of Disney. I'm tired of their shit. I'm tired of Disney and CBS's shit.
Well, this was before they were even part of
Don't
Disney.
you
But
fucking understand?
this is
Oh,
when
did you wanna say something about the GoFundMe for Captain April?
Oh yes, that reminds me. Yeah, Captain April, a friend of the channel, was in a really horrible accident. I've got a GoFundMe campaign here. I'm going to share in the link. If you can help, that'd be great. If not, at least share it. That also helps. So, don't know much. He's got some. There's a video on his channel right now that if you can check out to. Here, why don't you guys cover me for a second? Unless you got the link, Mecca, or
I don't.
okay, I was gonna say somebody cover for a second so I can look for the link here. I don't like clicking.
Oh, and also, I guess Ryan Johnson's confirming his Star Wars trilogy is still in the works again. This is what the sixth time he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out. It's like
He has, well, the fact that he has to keep saying is more enough.
yeah, I'll see that when I start hearing casting news. You know, I'll start believing you. You round-headed buffoon. None of this stuff is making me want to see Star Wars anymore. Like, why? I am more mad that I am not excited for Star Wars.
But it's your fault though, Mecca. You obviously hate strong women. You hate strong female characters.
Well, give me an actual strong female character in these new Star Wars movies, and then we'll talk. It's just not.
Now you're just being an absolute misogynist because they give you a strong female character and you just can't handle it.
You can't prove she's female. She looks like a 12-year-old boy.
Oh, now you're trans shaming.
That's what we have to deal with online. It gets ridiculous sometimes. It gets, you know, if people are like just tuning in or something, they might not realize that that's what happens. But anytime you have any sort of complaint about a movie or a nitpick or anything, you get attacked and bullied anymore. And now people are bullying us out of the things that we used to run to when we were bullied for being nerds. You know, and it's infuriating. And I'm sick of it. I really am sick of it. I'm being bullied out of Star Trek. I'm being bullied out of Star Wars. It's like, seriously, you know, I'm not going to sit here and still pay money and support franchises where I have to fight to be a fan, where I have to work at being a fan. Fuck that. They're not worth my time.
Hey.
Well, it's not like you're contributing anything.
Folks, so I got this up here now. Captain Robert Abel was in a horrible accident, as you can see. Last night, my longtime friend Bob Littlepage was in a massive accident on his way to see his wife, who was in the hospital. He was sober, awake, and driving safe until he hit a patch of standing water and rolled his 2003 Ford Explorer. He was belted in, but the belt failed, and for some reason, and he was thrown through the windshield, and he has a broken arm, spinal fractures, contusions, and memory loss. He and his wife are homeless, and the SUV was their only shelter. In addition, their 18-year-old Tabby Jones was killed in the crash.
Oh,
Now they are out shelter and their companion. I am trying to raise some money to get them another vehicle and, if possible, a home. He is 55 and a veteran, and his wife, Stephanie, is 52 and permanently disabled. Now they are both disabled. Help if you can. Pass it along if you can. They have been through so much, and now they are in serious need. They even lost all the clothes they own as they were cut off. And yeah, so basically you can check out the GoFundMe. If you can't help monetarily, you can share, because you never know. 4 or 5 of your friends could possibly be able to help. That's what I would remind people when it comes to this kind of stuff. Same thing for the Anas situation. You know, if you can't help, you know, if you share it, you never know. You might have 5 friends who can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tekken and Blade do a telethon.
Yeah, maybe I could see if I can set something up here for the next. Either I might be able to do something sooner, but maybe if not this weekend, we might be able to do something definitely. If we don't have any news on Friday night, maybe we'll do that, something like that. We'll see here. We'll definitely try and do something though. So, if you can though, in the meantime though, head on over there and do everything you can, one way or the other, whether it's sharing money or sharing the link. Both ways help, right, Rob?
Yep, that's right.
Turn off sports ball, Rob.
I'm standing up, actually. I'm stretching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, share, just like I said, share. Captain April's a good guy.
Long supporter of the channel. He's got a YouTube channel. They finally got monetized, right?
Yeah, they finally got monetized.
So yeah,
like
you guys can.
Yeah, so shows Captain April a little love, so people. So he's a veteran, right? He's a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think like vet benefits you can try to access?
I think he's on disability, so I don't know. I think that their medical might be covered. That I don't know. I can't speak because I don't know him that well, but yeah. So we hope for a speedy recovery. We know it's not going to be an easy recovery. Hopefully we hear some news from him soon. But until then, if you guys can help out, that'd be great. So yeah. Was there anything else we had tonight, boys and girls, or?
No, that's about it. That's about it. I can't think of anything else.
No.
And I think the chat froze again. Anyway, so there wasn't any last minute super chats, was there, that we missed?
No.
Not that I'm aware of.
All right. So Rob, take us away then.
Okay, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon here. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon on the main channel. If you're already subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed, because YouTube is actively unsubscribing people.
Yep, so that was the update we got, and it's right. You know, it's not like we're just making that up. No, I actually had a notice on my video manager, as did pretty much everybody on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Head on over to really like what we do. Head on over to Patreon. Bloopers, outtakes, lost episodes, behind the edge making of videos, my 10-minute stand-up set, and more. Support the channel for as little as $1 a month. If you don't like Patreon, you can head on over to Subscribestar. And if you don't like Subscribestar, we have PayPal. You can support the show directly. And as always, if you don't have means to support the show financially, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, like, subscribe on both channels, hit the bell icon, hit the bell icon on both channels. Yeah, I can't say anything there. That's right.
We actually have some changes coming to Patreon. There's going to be some different. We're going to be changing the levels, I think, and there's going to be some new stuff we're going to put on there. Andre told me so. And the reason I bring it up is because we're hopefully going to start having MP3s of like shows like this and the videos on the main channel for you guys to download. And that's going to be the only place that we're going to have that you guys can get a hold of those. So just keep that in mind. So
that's right. Anyway,
people have been asking for those. So
Mecca, tell them about your channel.
I am Mecha Random 42. Got a video coming up pretty soon here. Yeah. Just watch the videos or else. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Anthony Tracker, tell them about yourself.
The Alec Baldwin of Midnight's Edge After Dark. Tell him about yourself.
The Alec Baldwin of Midnight's Edge After Dark.
Yeah,
Really?
he has the SNL record. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I'm a floating piece of turd with glasses on. You like floating pieces of turds? Come hang out with me. It's a lot of fun over on my channel. And of course, a big part of the nerd community. I love these guys, even though they don't seem to love me that much, but that's okay. So yeah, we just hang out. We have a good time, man. That's what it's all about.
Yes. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back again on, I believe, Friday, or if something else happens.
That's right. Same bat time, same bat channel.
That's right.
Yeah, we might change that.
We'll check you out next time.
I was making my grandchildren some of your French onion soup. I poured the contents of a can into a saucepan, and out plops a human finger.
I'm listening.
Do I have the finger? I'm Krispy Kreme McDonald's.
I like big Asian butts, and I cannot lie.